Hi everybody, I'm Kristine and I am a brand ambassador for Graphic 45. So before this, I did show you a quick sneak peek of what my craft room looks like when it's clean. However, it usually doesn't stay that way for very long since I'm constantly creating one or more projects at a time. So I thought what I would do for the rest of the video is to give you a real peek of what my craft room looks like while my projects are in progress. So let's take a look at each of my workstations. I'll take you through where my Graphic 45 is stored, and then I'll show you around some of the projects in the room using my Graphic 45 papers because a lot of them have tutorials that are free or available for you to purchase. So I will get started with that next. Stay tuned. This is my main work surface. As you can see, I do have my laptop set up because I do typically make my tutorials as I go, starting my projects. So right now, it's actually not too messy because I have just started a project. So you'll see that I have my little things paper on the table and I've just started to make a mini album. So I have only started barely with this and I have all of my main tools on my desk where everything is within reach. So I've got my pens, my pencils, rulers, glue, corner punch, several things that I typically use. As I back up, you will see that I do have a camera mount on my desk for being able to film my digital tutorials or to be able to film my videos for Graphic 45. It's easy, I can move it out of the way. Looking in the drawer, this is where I house my punches. I don't use very often, but they're handy whenever I need them. I do use my 2 corner rounders pretty frequently. And then I have my daubers for my dies. I definitely use those a lot. And then I have my storage of all of my paper tapes right there because I use them pretty frequently. So they're easy to grab and go. Down here in my shelves, I have this box is filled with all of my dies. I actually have a second box on the other side, but these are the ones that I use most often. And then this box here is just filled with a lot of my ephemera assortment from various things that are not Graphic 45. Moving on here, I have some of my supplies like envelopes and 6x6 paper pads, some flower assortments, again, things that are not Graphic 45. And here I have lots of different things in this. I have different things from Renee Bouquets. I keep all of my stuff together. And I've got beads, glitter glass, micro beads, and that sort of thing. So I like to keep all of those in one place. Off to the side of my desk, I have a shelf unit that just has all of my junk journal supplies. I don't make them very often right now because I don't have time, but they're all in one place for when I need them. This is a fun little pod that my Aunt Patty made for me so I can keep all of my scraps while I'm scrapping. And she also made me a Cricut cover to match. So very fun, I love it. Moving on to the other side of my desk, in these bins here, I have some ribbons, and then I have all of my little metal embellishments in this box here. Again, all this is non-Graphic 45. Here is another set of the papers. I always take one set of 8x8 papers out of the collection that I'm designing with, and I like to save those for a future project. I have my crop-a dial here, and this box is filled with dies and some stamps. Down here, I've gotten so many more inks that I did change my inks into these Tim Holtz boxes. So I've got 2 of the large ones and 2 of the small ones. I've got my little finger daubers here, and I've got my Graphic 45 stamps down here. Now my Graphic 45 inks, they are stored here in this box. I did decorate this with Graphic 45 papers, and then all of my Graphic 45 inks are in there. On this shelf, I just have some projects that are ongoing, so things that I'm starting to work on are listed here. I've got my leftover chipboard pieces from projects that I just keep in a container here. And then this is filled with all of my bling. And this entire closet is filled almost entirely with Graphic 45, except for a little bit on the bottom shelf. So just like last year when I did my craft room tour, I still keep my papers in these nice organizers to where one entire collection or a couple of collections will fit in there. And then I have my yarns and fun fur here. This is a little different from last year's craft room tour. So I have gotten so much stuff that I can't keep it in one container. So I have my Graphic 45 tags, all different sizes here. I've got some of the envelopes and cards. Back here is even more tags. I've got washi tape, and I've got all the metal embellishments, so keyholes and paper clips and the cloth feet and the gems. And then I've got all of the different colors of ribbon that Graphic 45 currently offers. I love their ribbon. It is so nice to work with. I've got some of the flower assortment packs here. And then we've got the roses in the back. So all kinds of Graphic 45 goodies in this drawer. Then on this shelf, I store my staples, like my traveler notebook sets and my ATC matchbook boxes. And then this is filled with prizes for a challenge that I host monthly on scrapbook.com for anyone who wants to use any Graphic 45 papers or items that they sell. Graphic 45 did graciously provide those prizes, so we are very lucky at their generosity. More paper here. I've got so much paper, it's taking up now almost 3 rows. And then down here, I've got a couple of their older albums, just because I didn't have anywhere else for them to go. So this is my entire collection of Graphic 45. Let's see if I can zoom out and get it all in one shot. So there you have an entire closet filled with Graphic 45. I keep my washi tape on top of my ribbon rack. I've turned my ribbon rack around backwards from how it's supposed to be because it's easier for me to get the reels off whenever I need them. Here I just have a couple Graphic 45 Christmas cards. There is a tutorial for some of those. I'll go through that later. In this shelf unit here, I keep all of the scrapbooking supplies for my niece's traditional scrapbook album, as well as some extras from collections that I've designed with previously. So they're just kind of tucked away together. And I've got my marker caddy. A lot of my markers are missing right now because they are with my Glowforge. In this cabinet, I just have some leftover supplies at the top. And then I have all of my mixed media products in this crate here. And then my heat tool and my embossing powders. And then all of my extra adhesive there. So I always have a supply of it. My craft room does double as an office for my small business, so I use my printer quite often to print labels. So I have my shipping stuff here, and I've got materials to print things. So on the printer right now is paper for a notepad, and then down below here I have all of my shipping supplies. I've got my printer paper stored, and then I've got this entire box filled with lace, and all of these are basically scrap boxes with various things in it. So just regular scraps of paper and decorative papers as well. This is not the most organized way to keep scraps, but this is just what I do with all of my plain cardstock typically that I have scraps and leftovers. So for me right now, this is just the easiest way. Hopefully one day I will be able to sort this a little bit easier, but for now I just grab the box when I need a scrap piece. This is my second crafting area. So you will see on the shelves, I have my sewing machine that I can easily put on the desktop. Down below that, I have a box filled with stuff just for junk journals. On the other side, the bottom shelf, I have my watercolor paints and I have a little bit of sewing supplies. And on the shelf on the left on the top, I just have some random things that are stored. So this box here is another catch-all. It's just got lots of stuff. So die cuts from various other projects, bags, flowers, all kinds of things that I could possibly pull and use for a junk journal. So everything is just there together. On the surface of the desk, you will see one of the products that I am selling in my store on my website. So just something that I made for the scrapbooking retreat that we just had a couple of weeks ago. And then you'll see some projects that are on my desk. I've got another organizer over here filled with some different tools as well. My mom likes to come help scrap sometimes or to bring her own projects and scrap too. So we have 2 work surfaces for that. And then here we have the cutting counter. My We Are Memory Keeper scoring board usually goes in between my Spellbinders Platinum and my Cricut, but it's on my desktop right now because I am using it. So pretty easy to be able to use those things, just turn around from my main work surface. In this cabinet here, we see this little organizer. This is filled with things that I don't generally use very often. Brads, some wooden embellishments and die cut pieces, some older ribbons and things like that. So they're handy and readily available, but they're not something that I grab every day. On the second shelf, I do use this quite often. This is my supply of 8.5 by 11 colored cardstock. So I go through a lot of colors such as black, white, cream, and craft pretty frequently. So I do have a pretty big supply. You notice I don't have a lot of colors because I don't tend to use a lot of colored cardstock. I usually use the designer paper, mostly from Graphic 45. Down below here, I do have just a few scrapbooking books, and then I have a little container filled with stuff for a junk journal that I'm actually in the process of working on, so I wanted to keep all of those supplies together in one area. In the next closet, I do have some beads and some old embellishments and jewelry. I have my Julie Nutting doll stamps. I showed this last year during my craft room tour. It's in this box I decorated with the Princess Collection by Graphic 45. And this box here is filled with all of my embellishments for my niece's scrapbook. So it's her own box that I can use special for her. And then down here, you will see all of these iPhone and iPad boxes. I absolutely love decorating iPhone and iPad boxes. They're the nicest boxes to use, so I have a collection of them. All of these actually are just random empty boxes and things that I can design with, so I just keep them stocked here. On this last shelf, I have a bag full of plastic bags to use for garbage. I have some journals and notebooks from the store. I've got some colored pencils and markers and marker paper and drawing paper. These are from my niece and my nephews when they come to visit, so they can use those because they love to come and play in my craft room. And then down here, I have a binder full of pocket letters from previous swaps that I've participated in, and then lots of books for mostly quilting, but there's a few on other things too. So now that we have seen all of the areas in my craft room, let's take a tour of some of the projects that you can see with all the beautiful Graphic 45 papers. So first we have this Blossom mailbox. I did this as a project for my last year's Graphic 45 brand ambassador project. And then this was a more recent project that I did. There is a free tutorial on the Graphic 45 website to help with creating the actual top hat itself. There's a mini album inside with a tutorial available for purchase on my website. This little box here has a journal inside of it. It actually has a free tutorial available on my YouTube channel. Then this frame that has a picture of my dog Lucy. This was one of my brand ambassador projects from last year. Free tutorial available on the Graphic 45 blog. This is another project from last year's brand ambassador projects. And this is a free tutorial available on the Graphic 45 blog. and YouTube channel. Cottage Life mini album does have a tutorial available for purchase on my website. This is my new 'Twas the Night Before Christmas mini album, and it has a video tutorial available on my website. This is one of my absolute favorite mini albums I've ever made. Catch of the Day has a tutorial available for purchase on my website. This is a By the Sea album. I did not make this. I actually received this in a swap. It's a beautiful album, so there is no tutorial available for that. Down here, this is my Graphic 45 Brand Ambassador Audition project for 2021-2022. There is a full free tutorial available on my YouTube channel. Then the little purse is a leveled up project that I completed for one of my brand ambassador projects. Free full tutorial available on the Graphic 45 YouTube channel. I briefly showed these before. There are 2 step cards. They are identical except for the front paper card. The ephemera card is different. There is a free tutorial available on my website, on my blog. Coming up here, this here is a set of 3 envelopes. These 3 envelopes contain 4 cards each for a total of 12, one for each month of the year. They are made with Time to Flourish. There is a full tutorial available on the Graphic 45 blog. Up here in the back, this is a 2021 planner. This is the first year I auditioned for the Graphic 45 Brand Ambassador team. So this project is available as a full tutorial on my YouTube channel. This is the Christmas Time mini album that I made to hold Christmas cards that were decorated and handmade by my friends. So this has a tutorial available for purchase on my website. Coming down here, this is a beautiful Graphic 45 card used birdwatcher collection. This was made by my friend Renee as a congratulations when I joined the Graphic 45 Brand Ambassador team for the first year. Behind it, you will see a little teeny envelope here. This is a fold-out little mini album folio. It was made with Tropical Travelogue. There isn't a tutorial available for this, but I should make one someday because I think it's a really fun project that a lot of people would enjoy. Up here, this is the Nutcracker Sweet display box that I made. It does have lights in it. The Christmas tree lights up. It has a project overview. I cannot remember if it has a tutorial available or not. If it does, it's either on my website, my blog, or my YouTube channel. This shoe is made with the Fashion Forward collection. There is not a tutorial on this specific shoe, but I do have a different shoe. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it better. So this one, there is a tutorial available. The template is available for purchase on my Etsy shop, and I believe there is a tutorial available maybe on YouTube. This is my project for last year at Halloween. This is a candy dish made out of the Graphic 45 circle boxes and the Midnight Tales collection. So it's really fun. There is a full tutorial available on the Graphic 45 YouTube channel. And then back here, this Once Upon a Time, this is a card tutorial. These 2 panels on the top actually pull out. There is a full tutorial available on my blog. There is also a full tutorial available for this Be My Valentine banner. It is on the Graphic 45 blog. And I believe it's also available on YouTube. This is my first project as a brand ambassador. This layout was my introduction post for last year for 2021-2022. So there is a brief tutorial on the Graphic 45 blog showing you how to fussy cut all those different layers. So if I can move it this way, you might be able to see a little bit better all the different layers there. And then above that, we have my Alice in Wonderland layout. And the bottom part, this snippet roll at the bottom, there is a very quick 50 some second Reels video showing you how to create that little piece of the layout. So just to give you a little sneak peek at another area in my house that I use for crafting, we're in my basement, not very pretty, but it's functional. This is my glow forge. This is where I cut all of my laser pieces. This is my supply right now of wood, not very organized, but I'm in the middle of cutting a lot of Christmas ornaments. So I've got all of my scrap pieces. This is where I typically take pictures for my items for my blog posts. You'll notice the background is white wood. You probably have seen this in lots of my posts. Right now, though, it is covered with all kinds of materials for my ornaments that I'm making. So currently I'm making some Scrabble style ornaments to sell at a craft show, and then I will have these available on my website too. Then I've got some other ornament supplies, and then over here I've got just a bunch of stuff. This is just a bunch of the ornaments that I'm making, so lots of glittery snowflakes, and then some of these cute little snowmen. And then we have all of my materials that I use for filming all of my videos. So just one more little sneak peek at another area where I do some of my crafting. So that's it for my craft room tour this time. I hope you have enjoyed seeing my craft room. I know I like to see the craft rooms of other crafters sometimes just to get some tips and inspiration. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Graphic 45 YouTube channel and check back for more video content, including lots of fun tutorials and future releases. Bye everybody!